Raster Editing. We're going to look at becoming familiar with the raster editing workspace, using the tools to make your selection, how to fix common problems and enhance your images, and look at layers and layer masks. We want to look at the editing workspace and the common tools, select your proportions for our image, recognize some common settings, adjust the levels, brightness, and contrast, manage our file size and files with multiple layers. Photoshop is an excellent example of a raster editing program. A zoom tool is a navigation tool that magnifies or reduces the view of an image, and a hand tool is a navigation tool that moves an image around in a viewing area. The foreground color is what appears when you paint, draw, or fill in part of an image. The background color appears when you select and delete an area of an image in the background layer. It's the color behind a raster image. A selection tool is a type of tool used to select a portion of raster image before modifying it. When you use the selection tool, the area you select is outlined with a moving dashed line, which is sometimes called marching ants. Once the area is selected, you can use other tools and features to make changes to only that portion of the image. Here you can see some of the basic selection tools you'll use in Photoshop: the Move tool, the rectangle, elliptical, single row and single column marquees, the lasso, polygonal lasso, magnetic, quick selection, and magic wand. To make a selection of a clearly defined shape with one of the marquee tools, click the tool and then click and drag around the item that you wish to select. To make a selection of an irregularly shaped item, you can use the lasso tool to draw freehand around the item. Make the selection using the magic wand, magic lasso, or quick selection tools. And you can cancel a selection in Photoshop by selecting Deselect from the Select menu or using the shortcuts Ctrl-D on a PC or Command-D on a Mac. Anti-aliasing and feathering. Anti-aliasing is a raster editing feature that softens the hard edges of a selection by adjusting the color of the pixels along the outside of the edge. Feathering is a raster editing feature that softens the hard edge of a selection by adding a border around the outer edge that gradually fades into the background, creating a soft blur. Some additional magic wand tool settings are tolerance, which is a setting that determines the range of pixels affected by a raster editing tool's action. In Photoshop, this is the setting for the magic wand tool. Contiguous refers to the pixels that touch. If the contiguous setting is selected, only pixels that are touching will be included in the selection when you click an image with the magic wand. Quick masks are a temporary mask that enable you to make and refine selections using the paintbrush tool. When you make a selection, you are essentially protecting the unselected area of the image from any changes you make to the selected area inside of the marching ants. If you make a selection using one of the selection tools and then click the Quick Mask Mode icon on the toolbar, a red color overlay appears on the entire image except the selected area. Quick Mask Mode is useful for refining a selection of an irregular shape of an image, especially if you use the Zoom In tool to magnify the area before you use the Paintbrush tool to adjust the quick mask. Highlights represent the lightest part of an image, shadows represent the darkest part, and midtones represent the middle range. Adjusting the levels of any of these three areas can dramatically improve your picture. You can use the cropping tool in raster editing software to achieve a good composition. Raster editing software features retouch tools that enable you to alter the content of the image, like the spot healing brush, the red eye, clone stamp, eraser, background eraser, magic eraser, and blur. Layers are a raster editing feature that enable you to layer editable images individually, make changes, add effects, and make non-destructive edits. You add layers to combine and overlap multiple images, draw vector shapes on a raster image, add text to an image, change the order of overlapping items, adjust the position of different elements, and apply special effects and filters. A non-destructive edit is a change made to an image that does not actually alter the image's original pixels. A background layer is a special kind of layer in raster programs like Photoshop that's always at the bottom of the layer stack and cannot be renamed, moved, or deleted, or contain any transparency. A background layer has certain restrictions. Again, it's always on the bottom, can't rename it, cannot be transparent, and it can't be moved. Here you can see your basic layer actions from creating a new layer, renaming, selecting a layer to work with, deleting, moving it up, and showing and hiding. Name layers using logical and understandable names. You can add color and other details to the layers. You can add special effects to the layer, and change an adjustment. Click the adjustment layer in the layers palette and make changes in the adjustments panel. Layer transparency can vary from completely see-through at 0% to completely solid at 100. Layer transparency is applied to everything on the layer equally, and a layer mask and a raster editing feature that enables you to control what's visible on the layer. You can use a mask in combination with an adjustment layer to apply an effect to only a specific area of a layer. Here we have our original image set as the background layer. And you can tell that because, get my pen, right down here, that's our background that we have selected. You can zoom in on the head of the statue, select the head and add a levels adjustment layer, and use the level settings to lighten up the selected face so that we can see it a little bit better. When you draw a text box, a text layer is automatically added to the image, and you can add a layer style and adjust the style settings. You can add a new layer and use the clone stamp tool to obscure the portion of the building behind the fountain that was showing in the bottom left corner of the image. So if we go back here, you can see that we can see part of a building right here. We've used the clone stamp tool and we've cloned the water and we've gotten rid of that building. If you save a layered image in a file format that is native to the image editing software, the layers will remain available to you even after you've closed it. If you save your image as a JPEG or other non-native file format, the layers will be merged into a single image and you will no longer be able to edit them individually. Layers contribute to large file sizes, so the benefit of merging multiple layers into a single layer is that you get a smaller file size. To flatten is to merge multiple layers into a single layer. Flattening can reduce the file size, but should only be done after all editing is completed, and is best done on a copy of the original file. Many raster editing programs have similar workspaces and basic tools. For certain tasks in raster editing, you must first select a specific area to edit by using a quick selection tool or a feature like Photoshop's Quick Mask Mode. Some selection tools include settings such as anti-aliasing, feathering, tolerance, and contiguous options that enable you to enhance the effect or precision of a selection. Quick Mask Mode helps you refine a selection, and you can adjust levels, brightness, and contrast in photos using curves. A cropping tool in a raster editing program can help improve photo composition. Retouch tools make it possible to alter large and small imperfections in an image, and one of the most important uses of layers and layer masks is non-destructive editing. Since layers add to file size, you can choose to merge several layers into one by saving in a non-native format, or by using a flattened image feature in a raster editing program. Let me know if you have any questions.